Hello and welcome to At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Oftentimes people hear the word leader and they think only of political leaders, but leaders come in many forms, and that's worth exploring. I'm Jim Hoyer, born and raised in West Virginia, a husband, a father, a new grandfather, and a retired military leader, serving for over 40 years in public leadership for our state and nation. Now, the most important mission I have going forward is to educate, motivate, and empower our next generation of leaders. At the leadership table with us today is Dallas Wolfe. Dallas is the founder and owner of High Ground Brewing in Terra Alta, West Virginia. He's an Army veteran, a current member and officer in the West Virginia National Guard, an entrepreneur and a community leader, and founded High Ground Brewing in 2019. He's been very active and creative and not only award-winning beers, but also created a gathering space at the brewery in Terra Alta. And that's led to more community engagement across the area. I've also had the privilege of working with his dad over the years in his law enforcement capacity, and our work together a number of years ago when Dallas was probably just a kid. So Dallas, it's great to have a business entrepreneur, a community leader, and a member of the Guard with us. And thank you for joining us at the leadership table today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.
So Dallas is going to start out by asking you the same first question we ask all of our guests. Please share with us a standout moment when you learned something really important about leadership.
Well, this one just happened kind of recently. There's an officer that he's getting ready to retire. His name's Colonel Cliff Brackman. I'm sure you remember him.
I know Cliff.
And he has this way about him where he doesn't talk a lot. Right? He's kind of quiet. There's a lot of quiet moments, and you'll be in a meeting with him, or you'll just one-on-one, and you'll be talking to him, and he lets you talk. He leaves plenty of room, plenty of space for people to speak. And I noticed, like sitting in some of these meetings that he's in, like how much more engagement he gets from other people, and how there's that collaboration that starts happening. And he guides, but he doesn't dominate discussions. And I took advantage. I looked at that and I talked to him about it. And he's like, well, honestly, Dallas, I didn't even know I was doing it. I was like, well, I'm telling you, like what you're doing, like made an impact on me. So now, I try to do that. I'm more intentional about leaving space for people to talk. Guiding discussions, not dominating. Because if you dominate discussions, I found that like a lot of times you get people that'll do what you want, right? And they're not actually looking for the answer. They're just trying to figure out what answer you want, as opposed to what is the actual right answer. So that one I thought was really huge. So listening more and speaking less, I think is critical. And that it's just like I said, it was only like a couple of years. Yeah. So I wish I'd learned it a little earlier.
No, I think that's a great example and a great opportunity for leaders to follow. So give us a little bit more about your background from your West Virginia roots to military leadership positions and becoming a business entrepreneur and then facing the challenges of being a business entrepreneur during the pandemic.
Right. Well, it all started in December 26, 1984. This is the day I was born. I'm just kidding. I don't want to get back that far. But no, so I joined the Guard in 2004. I was a student here at WVU, went through WVU-RTC. So that's where I kind of started my military career. I ended up commissioning in 2007 into the West Virginia Army National Guard as a military policeman. And, I've been serving for 22 years now in the Guard, which is kind of crazy to think of. And for the business part of the side, it was around 2016. I had a couple of friends that lived in Washington, D.C., and I would go over there, and they always had all these unique, craft beers and things that, we can't get here in West Virginia. So I I've always been a hobbyist. I always find some hobby to get into, and I've been considered, sometimes I go a little bit too far with every hobby. Ask my wife, she'll tell you that if I pick up something, it's like I completely immerse myself into it. And brewing was one of those particular things. So I decided I was going to brew my own beer since, I can't get it locally, and these are the kind of styles of beers that I really enjoy.
Right.
Why not try to make it here? That way I don't have to make a trip to DC to go get this stuff. And I started making it, and I was terrible at it for the first couple of times. And, I think that military part of me was like, I'm not going to do something and fail at it. So I was like, okay, I admitted that I was going in a little bit half. I didn't go fully into it. So I completely immersed myself in it, bought books, and was reading threads on the internet, and really got into the science of it, learned like water chemistry, and went that far. It's crazy. And then I started making beer, and it was like really good. And people were like, whoa, this is really good. So I've always kind of had that thought of maybe wanting to start a business, entrepreneurship, but I never really had anything I was passionate about that I thought that I can actually go and do, right? And I always liked the idea of visiting breweries. I always connected with that particular experience because it's more laid back atmosphere. It's more like it's kind of like reminds me of like a small place in Germany, where all the locals come together, and that's like their place. And it's everybody. It's just such a unique spot. And I was like, man, I would love to be able to have one of those places back where I live. So it's like the only way I think it could happen is if I open one, right? So I took the passion for beer and then the passion for that community-based experience and just kind of followed it. And it took years of hard work just to get the funding to go. I mean, I don't come from a lot of money, so I had to figure out how to get financing. And that took me 2 years. I mean, from 2016 to 2018 to secure finances from an SBA loan, which is a pretty rigorous process. I mean, you got to go through a lot of stuff to get that. But I finally got a bank to approve my business plan, and then from 2018 is like bam, we were on the run. And I mean, and it's been just crazy. I mean, it's been 8 years since then, 7 years since we were officially open. It's kind of wild to think that much time's already passed. But
and so highlight for us. So we had in 2024, we had you highlighted on project we were doing called Mountain State Mission, which highlighted veteran business owners and veteran entrepreneurs. 2 years now from that, just highlight a little bit more what you just described about, so I can go into Morgantown and I can go to a couple of restaurants and get your beers on tap, but I can also find it in a couple of stores. But really, part of what you've done too is created, as you described a minute ago, an experience, an environment, a place where people in the Preston County community and the surrounding counties in Maryland and West Virginia can go to enjoy an experience as well. So talk a little bit about that and how all that's developed in the last couple of years.
yeah, I mean, I think understanding that what makes breweries unique is that community experience, I think is critical to the success of it. I think if you own a brewery and you don't understand that particular aspect of the business is what makes us the most unique. There's nobody else out there that can provide that experience specifically, like going into a place, seeing the shiny tanks, talking to somebody that makes it, seeing the person back there making it while you're hanging out. Like we'll be brewing and there'll be people in the bar, while we're making the beer. So I think that's critical. And some of the things that we've done, we do small events. We've got a pretty big beer garden out in our back area where we can put food vendors, we can do small local vendors, soap manufacturers and people that make pickles and craft and arts and all kinds of things. So we bring those other small businesses in to try to highlight them, highlight everybody, right? It's like a little small business, bazaar, if you would, or whatever, like a farmer's market. And I think that's awesome that we've been doing that lately. Since we last talked, we've made a few new beers. We've won a couple more awards at festivals. Always try to go to as many festivals as we can to engage with customers all over the state, because we do distribute to every county in the state of West Virginia.
So you've really been focused on not only creating the experience, but also an ecosystem where other small businesses can come together and create a unique opportunity for Preston County and the surrounding area.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Terra Alta, I mean, in the 7 years since we showed up there as a new business, we've ended up, there's a new coffee place in town, there's a new pizza spot, small businesses are kind of cropping up in the area, so I don't want to take credit for it, but at the same time, like, we all kind of support each other.
Got to be a spark to get things started, right?
We use the coffee shops, coffee beans in our beers. We sell their coffee there at the brewery. The pizza spot, we've got menus there. They'll deliver it down to our customers while they're, so we're all kind of like helping each other out. All the businesses in Terra Alta are really, the small businesses are all kind of pulling together, which I think is really cool.
And that's a part of our state that as the energy industry changed and transformed, went through some pretty challenging times, and throughout my career in the Guard, going back to the early 80s to today, saw some significant ups and downs and changes in that part of our West Virginia community, and it's great to see that you're bringing those things back around tourism. And I assume that you also can play off of the opportunities that come with all the throughput of military folks coming through from Camp Dawson as well.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah,
it helps. I mean, we get people from all over the place coming in. It's always fun to kind of look at the license plates in the parking lot and seeing where they're from, talking to folks. I mean, last year I talked to a couple that was from Japan. Literally, they were like very, like fresh here. They could speak English very well, but they were hanging out in a tap room in Terra Alta.
Right.
And it's like, this is crazy, like, to see what people come in.
So you're military officer still, an entrepreneur, a father. Tell me about managing the challenges of all those things together, and how do you guys do that?
Well, it's not me. I'll tell you that, sir. It takes everybody else. I've been fortunate to have a very strong family support group. I've got my all hands, right? From my dad, my stepmom, my mother, my mother-in-law are all helping out with the family, because my wife works full-time too. She works here at Mon General here in Mon County. And so we're lucky to have that. And then for the business, I'm a full-time, I work full-time at another location for the Guard, and I've got a really good team that works back at the brewery, that keeps things going, keeps me informed, and if I need to make a decision, I do. If there's a crisis that needs managed, then I can handle that. But really, I mean, I can't do it alone, and it's all about surrounding yourself with competent people that you can trust, that will be able to, has the best interest of the organization, at heart, and that's what they truly want.
Right.
They want the place to succeed. They take it as a part of their own identity. It's like, I am a worker at High Ground, or I'm an employee at High Ground, but I'm not just an employee. I'm part of this thing that we're doing in Terra Alta. Sharing our love for the passion of what we do, and for the industry, and for the community, and all that. I think that's really how I'm doing it. Of course, a lot of it is also, just keeping your head down, and one day at a time. Trying to keep one eye on the future, and one eye on the current operations.
So how has your military career and your military service and experience impacted the way you approach things as an entrepreneur?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is servant leadership, to where we serve, right? We're in the Guard, we serve our communities, we serve the government, the people, and there's not really that much difference in that when it comes to being a leader in the business industry. You know, you're serving your customers, you're serving your employees. You know, they don't work for me, I work for them. Same thing for customers. Like I work to earn their trust, to earn their business. And then the same thing with the communities too. It takes work, you know, to show that you're an authentic person in the community and you're not there just to take their money. You know, I'm there to build a community. And of course, brand loyalty, customer loyalty is an after effect of that. But if your heart isn't in that specific zone, then I think people can tell. And with the military, you know, nothing is done I mean, everybody individually does their part, but you're all part of a team. So like, I feel like that's another segue is you know, servant leadership, serving people, and then understanding that it takes a village. You know, it takes a team of people to make things happen. And then I think another one that's huge, and I think it's pretty common amongst most military folks, is their ability to kind of manage crisis and like adapt to situations pretty flexibly and not lose their cool. Mm-hmm. You know, something crazy could be happening, and you know, I may be kind of having a mini crisis inside of my own brain, but outwardly, you know, it's important that you show that, you know, this is not a big deal. We're going to get through it. And bad things are going to happen. You got to expect that, and it's just you got to be able to just continue to move forward regardless of what happens.
So you talked earlier about put a lot of work into building the foundation and the framework to get set up and start the business. So what are a couple of things that for somebody thinking about starting a business in West Virginia that are positives related to having a business and starting a business in West Virginia?
Yeah, so I mean, I think, so for one, I'm definitely not an economic expert by any means, but I will tell you that there is opportunities in West Virginia, and I think that, and it kind of goes with, I feel like everything kind of goes back to what we're talking about when we talk about communities. And I do think West Virginia is very strong when it comes to community basis. You know, I talk to folks that come in from out of state. They may be from DC, or they're coming in from Pittsburgh, or wherever they're coming from the larger areas. And they all have some story about how some West Virginia person absolutely went out of their way to help them. And they're not used to that. And the people in this state are, in my opinion, incredible. I mean, it's just amazing to see somebody come in from I don't know you at all, and you're in trouble or you need help, and the links that people will go to support one another, regardless of where they're from or whatever. And that's the same thing when it comes to, I think, businesses. You know, I think if and what we talked about earlier was authenticity. You know, if you're authentic and you prove that you're there for the community aspect, and you're there to provide a service for people and serve them in a capacity that people will support you. They'll go out of their way to support whatever your business is. You know, and I think West Virginia also, I don't think we're quite as plagued with the commercialized every base is covered, right? There's plenty of gaps and seams, niches that a small business, like an entrepreneur, could find and say, hey, this community right here could use this. Something as simple as a laundromat, or a storage units, or like a coffee shop. Because the big corporations haven't taken over every aspect of the state like they have in some other states. Right? Like there's some states you can't drive 10 miles without running into a Starbucks, but West Virginia, they can, if they find a small locally owned coffee shop, and we'll just use coffee shops as an example, they'll go to that coffee shop instead of the other ones because they want to support their local community, especially if that coffee shop engages their community and shows that, you know, I'm one of you, I care about you. I'm not some CEO that's sitting in, you know, the 57th floor of some building. You know, I'm living here amongst you.
So what's a location from across the country where somebody's come into High Ground Brewing that's kind of caught your attention that, hey, how'd you get here from, pick the place, and what are some of the places outside of West Virginia that you're seeing tourists come in and visit your your brewery for the experience.
Yeah. Well, the one that I blew my mind was the one we were talking about with the couple from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, how did you manage to get here? And they were just like, I think they were like 2 hours away from the brewery, and they had somehow stumbled onto it on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and they made it a point to come to this small little brewery in Terra Alta, and they, of course, we treated them, we try all the beers, here, take this, take that, thank you for coming. Like,
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to be able to see that. But, going in the parking lot and seeing the tags on the cars from where we're talking to the folks that are coming in from literally all over the place. I mean, people from, the West Coast, people from Canada, it's crazy. And, I think breweries, and specifically breweries, are, tourist destinations. If you make them a unique experience, and it's something that you can't get literally anywhere else, they'll come there, they'll seek it out, and it's pretty cool. I mean, we have, another thing we do is, we do Harvest Toast. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's where if you have an RV or a camper,
Mm-hmm.
we let you hang out and stay on our property for free. Like,
Okay.
it's kind of like Airbnb, but like there's no money. It's
Right.
just like, hey, this is a safe place that supports, travelers or tourist locations. And we've had people stay the weekend, like in our back lot, and
Okay.
just hang out in the brewery for a couple of days. And, so that's pretty neat and that happened, like during the summertime, there's almost always like a camper out there,
Okay.
hanging out.
So you're not just an entrepreneur in your own business, but as you talked about, you've been helping to build this ecosystem of other businesses in the area. But what's your vision for the future for both High Ground Brewing and Terra Alta, Preston County, and beyond for where you want to see this go in the future?
Well, I think that the size of the brewery itself, I think, is correct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need to expand our production capacity in any way. One thing that I would like to see us get to, which we're trying to work out the financial aspect of it, but I'd like to see us open maybe another location
Mm-hmm.
for a similar experience in just another spot.
Right.
For one, profit margins are better at that, that point of sale system
Right.
versus the distribution
Mm-hmm.
at the wholesale side. And also, it'd be fun to have another spot that you can engage with and share maybe a slightly different thing or whatever. But I think opening up another location is kind of the move from a business standpoint, and it also it sounds fun. Like it'd be fun to do that. For the West Virginia craft beer industry, I think it's the same. I think that, well, not even West Virginia craft beer, just craft beer in general. I think the large-scale regional distributors, the large breweries that are supporting, half the country.
Right.
I think that in the future it may struggle, and I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see the future, but I think the trends. I think craft beer is going to go back to its roots, which was that small spot
Right.
that you can go in and have a beer that was made,
Unique experience.
unique experience that was brewed right there by that guy over there, as opposed to the grocery store beers. Not to say that putting beers in grocery stores are a bad thing, and there'll be a few of those major retail, like regional breweries that'll hang in there. But I think in general, I think the smaller scales are going to be the ones that are the most successful. And it comes down to that what makes us unique. What makes small craft breweries unique is that one-on-one experience in the brewery.
So if somebody, we've got, I think, 25 stations that across the state of West Virginia. Somebody from another spot in West Virginia wants to get an opportunity and can't necessarily come to get the full brewery experience. Are there opportunities for West Virginians to get your product from other places in the state?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a distributor that distributes in every county in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we're not in your county and there's a spot that you go to that has taps or has cans or sells cans or whatever, then what I ask is that you just request it from the establishment, the manager or the owner, whatever, and say, hey, I'd like to see High Ground Brewing get in here,
Okay.
right? And then feel free to have them reach out to our Facebook page, get in contact with us, and let us know, hey, I have a business here. I'd like to get in contact with your distributor, and then we'll make it happen to make the connection. But a lot of it is like people that want to see it and they want to support us. Just letting the folks that, like the places that you go, let them know that you'd like to have it, and then eventually, if there's enough of that demand or the request, then, folks will make the connection and get out to
People
us.
can come visit the brewery and take product away as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have cans for sale. You can take kegs, merchandise, all that kind of stuff. We have plenty of things that you can take home with you if you do make it up there, growlers. But yeah, I mean, we can get it to you.
Yeah.
And we have plenty of spots out there, so many to name. But any of the major craft beer locations, like if you're in a place that sells craft beer, then that's a place that you're likely to find us.
Yeah.
And the same thing with small distribution cans. You could probably find our cans in some of those spots too, depending on where you are.
Very good. Well, Dallas, I've had the privilege of working with your dad in his law enforcement role, of serving with you in the Guard, and now seeing you continue your Guard career in leadership positions, but also become a successful entrepreneur in West Virginia. So I thank you for your service. Thank you for being a West Virginia entrepreneur, and thank you for taking the time to join us at the leadership table today.
Thank you, sir. It's been an honor to be here. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. This has been At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Did you know you can now find me on social media at RMG Hoyer? That's HOYER, or email me at rmgjameshoyer@gmail.com.